Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball, waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball, waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough.
Welcome to the folks who are already in the chat. Hustle and motivate, who is always hustling and are motivating. Thank you for coming out and rocking with us. Flameser, he is a writer, LV1Gaming.com. He does amazing anime content for the site. Shout out to you for coming out and rocking with us. Flameser, Spidey Ring, I see you. Abdale is in the chat as well. You guys are freaking amazing. Also for coming out and rocking with us this early in the show. Do us a big favor, hit the like button if you haven't. Share the stream and let people know that we are live. Yes, Baron is not here this evening. He got sick. I think he was playing in mud, as he normally does, and he's not feeling very well. So Let's hope that he gets a little bit more of the sniffles before he eventually feels better. We got 2 guests with us today. It's going to be one heck of a show. I'm going to introduce those guests here in a moment. But first, what's going on, people? Fame and Tam here from LV1Gaming.com. And congratulations, you guys leveled up to 255. This is the Double XP podcast. Lots of stuff, lots of things to talk about tonight. I do apologize. I am tired as I get ready for DreamCon because this show is getting massively bigger-ish every year. From a small convention in Waco to us probably needing the fire marshals to shut the show down in Arlington last year to this year pretty much selling out the Austin Convention Center. And I'm trying to get so much prep ready for this convention. So if you guys are out there and you guys see me, please come by and say what's up. It's going to be lots of fun. If you're an anime head, or if you're just fans of RDC World, AMP, and all those guys, we're going to have a good time. It's going to be a heck of a weekend, and I am fully prepared and ready. But first, let's go with the introductions. My right hand, man, the floor hugger with the hardest of ours. What's going on, sis?
Not much. I'm excited to be here. Have Ryan back. It's been what, like a year, give or take? No.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Close to, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. So let's enjoy some gaming. Let's talk about it with Keith, and we'll just have some fun tonight. It's a Wednesday, y'all.
Next up, we got the events marketing manager at Freedom Games. She runs the show for one of our favorite publishers, for one of our favorite gaming publishers in the industry. Des, what's going on, sis?
Yo, just getting stuff ready for the next Games for Games showcase. Working hard there. And Harrison, if you're watching, I told Ryan that you were really excited that he was going to be on today. So make sure you say something in the chat. But yeah, no, it's good to be here, Ryan. It's great to meet you. And I'm excited to get into some conversation, especially about the TMNT controllers. Like we have to spend like at least 20 minutes on how amazing those are.
At this point, this brother might as well walk into the house, go in the refrigerator, go to the kitchen, and get what he wants to drink because he's been here and he has an open seat. He is the founder at the Outer Haven. Keith, what's going on, brother?
Yo, thanks for having me back. I'm having a great day. It is Wednesday, and I'm actually pretty chipper today.
Aw. Usually chipper when you come on?
I'm going to say you're always chipper when you come here, man.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the 9 to 5, the grind. Yeah. Usually the Wednesdays is when...
Just hump day, right?
Hump day. There you go. Hump day. That's what it is.
I do want to give a big shout out to Keith because before we published a review for Remnant 2, like it was carry season. Like on certain bosses, it was like, oh, we're gonna go get Keith because Keith can come here and walk us through. Shout out to you for carrying us through some of those boss fights.
I told you when it comes to Souls likes, man, I am there. We're not going to talk about how many hours I have in that game.
Too many. I'm sure you're well over 200 hours.
I'm at 100-something hours. That's not good. Dang. I took off of work to play this game. Leave it at that.
If you love a game, you love a game, right?
I'll be doing it.
Remnant 2 is amazing. I don't think Remnant gets enough praise for just how good the first game was. Right, it was a really good game.
I don't think Gunfire Games gets enough credit for how much they do. Not just Remnant. Also, Darksiders 3 was a phenomenal game that people overlook. Mm-hmm. Remnant from the Ashes is an amazing game. Chronos, the very first one, was an amazing game.
The prequel. Mm-hmm.
Yep, and a lot of people, honestly, if you want to get the whole story in Remnant 2, you really need to go back and play all of them. Then come back to this. It still is weird, though. It's Remnant 2, but it's Chronos, then Remnant from the Ashes, and then Remnant 2. It's technically the third game, but it's a great game regardless. Go play it.
It is. And last but definitely not least, he hosts one of my favorite shows. I absolutely love Podcast Unlocked. He's one of my favorite personalities, not just on the Xbox side of things, but in general. Ryan McCaffrey, how have you been, brother?
I'm good, Fame. It is it's great to be back. Appreciate you guys inviting me back, and it's always good to talk games. So and I don't have to host, so I can just hang back, let you do all the work, and then I just like pipe in from time to time. It's great. I can't ask for more than that.
It's a beautiful thing. But before we get started, I do want to talk a little bit about Podcast Unlocked because you guys have a new guest or a new host for the show. Who you guys have running? Have you guys run the show every time you guys post?
Well, it's like Jeopardy with the guest host, except our guest host isn't horrible. Or well, there's not one bad one and one good one. It's just one great one. Khalif Adams is from Spawn on Me is hanging with us while Miranda's got to take a little podcast hiatus during this insane season of huge busy games. Miranda's got to take care of her primary responsibilities at IGN, which is running all the wiki game helps side of the entire company. Really, it's a massive undertaking. So Ka reached out, said, "Hey, I'm around if you want me to sit in for as long as you need me to." So he was really nice to offer, and he makes us better. I mean, Miranda makes us better too, and it's a shame we gotta wait a little while before we can get Miranda back on. But Khalif is could not have asked for anybody better to step up and sit in with us.
See, that's awesome. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Y'all got to give Ryan McCaffrey his flowers. I don't think you get enough flowers for everything you do for people in the community. I mean, heck, I took a screenshot of myself on Podcast Unlocked, and I look at it every once in a while, right? Because there was a big moment for me, right? It's a podcast that I adore, and you as a creative, I've always loved to follow your work. So your flowers, definitely want to give those to you, man. I appreciate you coming on. And we didn't scare you off from the last time you was here, so that makes me feel good. Thank you so much for coming back. I do want to go over to the chat. Shout out to Max City ENT with Super Chat. He says Lord Attic and Dirt on Unlock. I think they're throwing pictures out there for you, Ryan. To Lord Attic from the Iron Lords podcast, and Lord Attic and Dirt on Unlocked.
All right.
I see Dragonheart Yobi with the Yobi emojis. For you guys don't know, Dragonheart Yobi is one of our biggest supporters of LV1 Gaming. So I had to go in there and put a emoji in there for Yobi just because he rocks with us so much and does so much and has been supporting us from the moment our website went live. Yobi has been there supporting us. So I definitely want to do just a small token of appreciation to Yobi in the chat. Again, we have lots to talk about. Shout out to the Iron Lords for the raid. I do appreciate you, Iron Lords. I think it was Lord Addict who did that. Him and Dirt show and a shout out to you guys. I really appreciate it. Jay Rambert with the $50 super chat. Jay as well has been a major supporter of LV1 and LV1Gaming.com. I said, did you guys hear you can fight with mechs in Starfield? Hit that like button. PS, let's get Dirt and Lord Addict on Unlocked back to back. They are pushing for Lord Addict and Dirt Greg. They're championing it, and you know I love that support that they're giving those two, man. They do amazing work every Wednesday for the Addict Show and what Dirt does on his We Bleed Green podcast every Monday, and of course what Addict does every Wednesday and on Sunday, because we know Sunday is the Lord's Day. So shout out to them and shout out to you, Jamie. I really appreciate the super chat. We got a lot to talk about tonight, so we're going to jump right into it, right? PlayStation 5. The rumors have it that PlayStation 5 will be having a Pro console releasing sometime in 2024. Originally, we had heard this rumor a while back that may be launching 2023, and I believe Insider Gaming came out with a massive report saying this thing is happening and it's coming in 2024. Today, I had published a piece talking about why I believe that the Xbox needs to counter this with a mid-gen refresh of their own, even though we're hearing that the Xbox Series X itself is a mid-gen refresh. It brought along lots of conversation on Twitter with a lot of people who truly don't believe that Xbox needs to have a competitor to the PS5 Pro. So Ryan, I'm gonna switch over to you first and try to get your thoughts on, do you believe that the Xbox needs to have a counter to the PlayStation 5 Pro, or will Xbox be okay with losing that power narrative?
If there is a PS5 Pro, and I've seen the rumors, but I'll be honest, I haven't really dug into them and to see, how much I believe or don't. But if there were to be a PS5 Pro, Microsoft's got to get in there with their own device, because you got to take care of your developers and your players. And if your developers are going to be, the PS5's doing great, and if the PS5 if developers are going to be working on games that can take advantage of a PS5 Pro, well, you got to be out there. You can't leave that money on the table if you're Microsoft and have those developers just be making better versions of things for your competitor. You gotta get them in there. You gotta have a Series Y or whatever we're gonna call it here, Series X Pro, maybe, but just be that simple. But it would be particularly after last gen, where we did get the Xbox One X, it would just be really weird for Microsoft to sit out the mid-gen refresh this time, if there is one, and be like, no, it's fine, we're just gonna let them have some, more of the market from the core gamers that want that device, and we're just gonna wait like that. And you brought the power narrative. I didn't even address that, but yeah, that hasn't turned the tide for Microsoft this generation. I mean, it's
true.
It doesn't hurt, certainly, for them to be able to say, hey, we're neck and neck, and maybe even a little bit more powerful as far as teraflops go than the PS5, but to just willingly hand that over to Sony, particularly when you're a $1 trillion company who just spent $69 billion to acquire Activision Blizzard, probably another billion on legal fees. Maybe we'll just round it up, call it 70 billion at this point. But you got to dip into the well here. You got to reach into the wallet and make a mid-gen refresh happen. So we'll see. I would be, if it happens, I'd be stunned if only Sony does it.
Now, what would that mean for the Series S? If you go into the mid-gen, do you think that could sort of spell doomsday for the console, that we keep hearing rumors that it is an issue with certain developers?
I mean, I called out that very thing. I reviewed the Series S and Series X from Microsoft. I did the hardware reviews back in 2020. And I said that exact thing of in a few years, the Series S, this could be a problem. Now, maybe Microsoft just quietly upgrades it along the way. I mean, they are offering this new version coming up in, I believe it's September 1st with the bigger hard drive. Granted, that's an option. That's nothing to do with the actual game playing hardware, really. But I mean, Microsoft is committed to the Series S. They have to support it for the entire generation at this point. I don't see any way that they could just quietly phase it out in the back half or even back third of this generation. So, is that? I definitely think that's possible. Again, I'm not a game developer, but PC games have a minimum spec and a recommended spec. There's no reason why you couldn't have the S as your minimum spec, the Series X as your kind of average, quote unquote, average spec, and then have a recommended spec of a Series X Pro.
Now, Keith, I'm gonna swing it over to you and get your thoughts about this. Number one, do you believe that Microsoft would bow out and let Sony have that power narrative? And secondly, if they don't, and they create a Xbox Series XL or Xbox Series Y, whatever you may call it, what happens with the Series S? Because at this point, unless it's $99, it kind of loses its value by far.
Well, there's a couple scenarios here. And first of all, I don't think Microsoft is going to drop the S. If they do that, they're basically giving up on everybody who's adopted that system. And that's going to make a lot of people frustrated. So I don't see that happening. I like what Ryan mentioned about the PC. There is a recommended and there is a minimal spec. The downside is usually with the minimum spec, it doesn't do as well. And you kind of can relate that to the S right now. In terms of letting the competitor get ahead of them. See, Microsoft is in a very weird situation here because they can do things that PlayStation or Nintendo can't do right now. Their games can come out on either the Xbox or the PC. So it's interesting, but I don't see them going wholly on the PC port or PC side of things if PlayStation comes out with the PlayStation 5 Pro. I don't see Microsoft giving that up. It's going to be a tick for tack. All right, you brought yours, we'll bring out ours. But it was interesting finding out that the Xbox X is a mid-fresh console. Because when they were hyping this console out, it was like, this is our best of the best of the best. But it's kind of funny because if you go back to the Xbox One X, they kind of were doing the same thing. So it's interesting. You can never tell here. It's a weird situation that Microsoft is in. But they're not going to give up. They're not going to let their competitor get a one-up on them. That's not happening.
I do think they kind of put themselves in a awkward situation. is what do we do? Did they truly give us their next gen console in the Series S and their mid gen with the Series X at the exact same time? They're gonna be in a predicament because I could see developers not wanting to have to put in the extra work to make sure this game not only works on their two more powerful consoles, but the lower spec one. Sis, I'm gonna swing over to you because you are the queen of optimization when it comes to PC. I do want to get your thoughts on the Xbox Series. I'm calling it the Series XL. If it,
I like that
if
name.
it should be a
Extra
thing.
long.
Yeah, I love it. Right,
I like that name.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wait. Did we lose? She looks frozen. Okay, you're back.
This is a weird, like you said, they backed themselves into a weird corner with this, and like he said, they can't stop supporting it because then you alienate your whole community that's been built around that. And then, like Ryan said, they're not gonna let PlayStation one up them. Now, if I were to put my Baron hat on, I'd say, well, they're not concerned. They're moving to software anyway with Game Pass and stuff. But I don't know. But I do hope they call it XL if they bring it out because it's extra long and extra thick, and I'm ready for that. Maybe I will get an Xbox after all if they bring out an XL.
I love Dez's face because
Des,
she held it in, and I am so proud of her. But Dez, should Microsoft counter the PS5 Pro? If the PS5 Pro is a thing, which it seemed like it is, will follow. If we get the Slim this year and the PS5 Pro next year, does Microsoft need to continue to keep up with the competition?
I don't think so. I guess I'm like the odd man out. I think because they're so focused on Xbox and so focused on Xbox Pass that they're not really focused on consoles as much. I mean, do they need to do it? No. Will they do it? Maybe, but I don't think it's going to hurt them if they don't necessarily, because I don't feel like that's where their focus is. I do agree with Ryan when it comes to like for the developer's sake, like you are going to have people in the community being like, it looks so much better on the new PS, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think that's really going to affect them that much because then they could just be like, play it on PC. And a lot of people have PCs and a lot of people are playing Xbox games on PC. So they don't necessarily need to release a new Xbox. I think when they do release one, it won't be like a mid refresh. I think they'll need to come out of the box with something like brand new and really powerful. And I don't see them really like wasting the money right now and just doing a refresh of something when they already are putting all their resources into Xbox Game Pass. But I could be wrong.
Ryan, I want to swing back to you because I heard a theory from someone that kind of put into them believing that Xbox will not have a mid-gen refresh because they've already sacrificed and they've openly admitted to sacrificing Xbox hardware so they can further the cloud because of their interest in cloud gaming, their interest in streaming. Do you buy into that at all, that this would be the reason behind it? It's like, hey, we're going to focus on building up our cloud infrastructure and we will see you guys when it's time for the PS6 and we'll build a more powerful console then.
No, I don't buy into that because really, and I wish I'd said this a few minutes ago, but you've kindly put the thought back into my head. The cloud could be the solution for Series S owners of, okay, well, the games are getting better. We're supporting a Series XL, as we all unanimously agree that that's an awesome name for it. And for Series S owners, all right, if, Elder Scrolls 6, well, that's probably going to be next gen. So whatever game it is, whatever you want to say, maybe Perfect Dark by the time we get around to that game.
That game releases.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So all right, Perfect Dark. Yeah, it's you could play it on Series XL, Series X, or we'll stream it to your Series S for you, which, by the way, Microsoft's already doing with, like, if you want to play Microsoft Flight Simulator on an Xbox One, that's how you play it. It's through the cloud.
Right.
Yeah.
With your controller on the TV, as if it was coming through the console, but it's not. It's coming through the cloud. So, the cloud could be the sort of bridge between the Series S and move, and being able to move away in a sense from the Series S while still actually supporting it.
And I think that's kind of perfect timing because we're not too long ago, our government decided that we're going to finally have this push to where everyone has access to the internet, right? Everyone has affordable access to internet, high-speed internet, right? Because as we know, a lot of people, even in America, live in spaces to where they do not have access to high-speed internet. So if that is where our country is finally pushed to, it might be the perfect storm for Microsoft to say, hey, you still have an Xbox Series S, don't worry, you can still play our newest title at the highest frame rate, at the highest resolution, because we're working on Series X blades or Series XL blades, right? It's kind of a perfect storm, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Pricing is going to be very important. That's what is PlayStation going to mark the PS5 Pro at, because I don't think Microsoft can continue to come out higher.
Well, yeah, they both raised the prices in most non-North American territories. So I just can't. If a Pro is real, if PS5 Pro is real, if Series XL is real, I would set my minimum expectation that those are going to be $600 machines, because they're inherently only going to be catering to us, the hardcore gamers.
Yep.
That's not going to be like, your average gamer that's playing Call of Duty every year, that plays GTA. That is for the core gamers who really care about their games looking and performing the best that they possibly can. And because I just don't see, I mean, yes, in time, the PS5 and the Series X are going to come down in price, but I have a real hard time with a PS5 Pro being a real thing next fall. Like, I could end up totally eating my words on that, but that seems a little early based on just the fact that this generation got off to such a slow start because of the supply chain and all that. But that aside, I still just don't see the prices going down on these machines. Not when we've had historic price increases on both of them, which we've literally never seen in a console, in a two plus year old console before. So that's, I guess, long-winded way of saying, if mid-gen refreshes are real, buckle up for them to be real expensive.
Oh, absolutely. I also just think it's weird because I feel like a lot of people just got their hands on a PS5 like last year.
Yeah.
And so to already be pushing like the refresh next year, from a marketing point, that seems stupid.
Yeah. A Slim I could buy into for sure. I mean, there's because a Slim for any console, I can't say this with like scientific irrefutable fact, but I'm pretty darn confident that any Slim console that's ever come out has not only been smaller, but also cheaper for the company to make, right? Like,
more refined.
When Sony does the Slims, when Xbox did the 360, what was it, the E, I think was the official name of it. And then certainly the series, the Xbox One S. Those cost the manufacturers less, so you get a benefit for the consumer that they're smaller, maybe they're quieter, although these consoles now are super quiet. But yeah, they're saving money on the costs as well. So, it does just feel way too early for a Pro or an XL. But like, could I see a PS5 Slim next fall? That I would be much more likely to believe.
Yeah.
I'm praying that's the case, because I sit here today without a PS5 because I knew I would be waiting for that special one. And that Spider-Man PS5 is mine. It will be had.
Well, you just get a PlayStation 5 on the cheap and get the plates.
That's what I found. That's my next point. Like, I now feel stupid. Now I could have just bought one and now just buy the plates. That's what I might do. Just go ahead and just get one now and get the plates.
Yeah, just get one now, get the plates.
I'm glad they did that, because everybody that I was talking to was like, "Oh my god, this new PlayStation 5," and I just bought one, and I want I'm like, okay, and then we look at, oh look, controllers are separate, plates are separate, just buy them, and they're happy.
So that's fine. I want to give a shout out to Raiden Blade or Raiden Blade. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. With the super chat, there's no mid-gen for Microsoft because the tech in the consoles is still not being used. PS5 was the older tech that was 2018-19 tech. Devs had PS5 dev kit 1 year before. I will say this. It always feels like we never truly get the most out of these consoles until we're getting ready to get into the next generation of games, right? It's always seemed to be the case. It's almost like the mid-gen refresh is, in a way, like Ryan said earlier, it's pandering to us, pandering to the hardcore, the people who just want the next greatest thing, right? But I'm all for them not doing a mid-gen refresh, because again, we know they have not maximized out these machines yet, right? I want to see what they can do. Don't doubt for a second that with more time we couldn't get Starfield at 60 FPS on the Series X, right?
The PS4 Pro and the One X were about legit 4K gaming. A mid-gen refresh, we have that now. A mid-gen refresh now, if it happens for either platform, it's going to be all about 60 frames for as many games as possible, and actually getting ray tracing to be a thing that's because it's such a performance hit on these systems now that we're not really seeing a lot of ray tracing, at least put to super obvious use. I know there are definitely games that do utilize it, and developers are doing everything they can, but yeah, I think it's going to be more about a performance thing with if these mid-gen refreshes actually happen, versus last gen when we first got the mid-gen refreshes, were I think it was more of a resolution thing.
And that's sort of sad in a way, because we thought that these consoles were everything's going to be 60 FPS, and it was sort of marketed that way after last gen 4K being a focus word. 4K, everything was 4K. And then we get these consoles and everything's supposed to be 60 FPS is our standard, right? And then you get weird things like the PS5 box coming with the 8K logo on it. That doesn't quite make sense to me. And now you're hearing, well, now we're looking at 8K, even though I believe 99% of people don't have. There's no 8K content, at least in my price range, that I know about. Maybe that's above my pay grade. Maybe. But it's gonna be interesting, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Real quick, when you were saying that everybody was buying into the buzzwords and the promises of these consoles, both Xbox and PlayStation, being a tech guy, I was like, "There's no way this is happening, guys." Everybody's like, "We're going to get 4K, 60 frames per second." Like, you're not getting this. You're not getting this. You're barely getting this on the PC with top-line video cards. I mean, we're hearing the nonsense now with Remnant 2 that the developers, you have to play the game using an upscaler to get 60 frames per second. Now that's the big issue. Like, oh my god, this 40. You just mean to tell me it's RTX 49? You can't run this game at 60 frames per second? And I'm like, can we just stop this? It's all about programming. It's all about coding. It's all about optimization, and it's all about the hardware. They're programming for hardware that exists right now.
Yeah.
If you're talking about you're not going to run this on an RTX 2060, guys, or 3080. Those are old school. I'm sorry. People hate that. Those are old. Those are old gen. Sorry, they're not programming for this. I mean, obviously they are, so it'll run. But the goal is to make it run for the newer stuff. Getting back to the Xbox and whatnot, this wasn't AMD's newest stuff. It wasn't. And you expected that to give you that? I mean, I love my Xbox, I love my PlayStation, but we gotta be honest. We gotta be real here. Those consoles weren't going to give you what you wanted. You're being unrealistic. And I wish they would circle back and just give us what we really need. And that's frame rates. I could do without ray tracing. I really could. Just give me frame rates. I'll be happy.
Listen, I've yet, because I play a game on my Asus monitor, right? It's 1440p, 144 hertz. I've yet to play anything at 4K, so I could care less. I could care less about 4K resolution, right? Just give me a solid 60 upwards to 120 frame rates, and I think the majority of people will be happy. I could be wrong. I reserve the right to be wrong.
I think when it comes to marketing, you use those buzzwords to get people excited. A lot of people cannot tell the difference between those things that you've just named. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're a hardcore gamer or you're in tech, these buzzwords are not for you, because you obviously know that it's bullshit, right? These words are for people who are like, oh, wow, that sounds really fancy. Let me get that. And then they get it and they don't really complain because they don't know the difference. And that is what they are counting on. A lot of people who are buying into these words, it's the same thing they do with cars. It's the same thing they do with TVs. that's how they get people, the general public excited, the casual
You're right.
gamer excited. It's not for people who are pro gaming or people who are looking for that, because you already know it's BS.
Yeah, I see a comment in the chat, and it's a word I haven't seen in a long time. What happened to checkerboarding? Remember last generation, like, it was checkerboard, the checkerboard. It's almost like that has like disappeared from developers now. No longer we're not gonna checkerboard 4K. So I just thought that was interesting. But I do want to move on because I want to set a scene. Okay, a few years back, Sega was up in Seattle at the Xbox, office, the headquarters, and they were posting pictures in the lobby. They had posting pictures of Sega in the lobby, and it was just like on a random day of the week, no rhyme or reason, just Sega was posting stuff at the Xbox headquarters. And so a lot of people are kind of taken back, like, what could this mean? Or they bring? I don't think at that point, I don't think all the Yakuza games and stuff were over on Game Pass just yet. I could be wrong about that, but it was just kind of different. Like, you normally don't really see that happen on a random day for no rhyme or reason. And then we hear later on that Xbox and Sega is working on a super game, whatever that thing may be. It was rumors of a super game. Fast forward, you hear here recently that Sega was on that big list of studios and publishers that Microsoft was looking to purchase. Around the same time, Sarah Bond, which that's my dream interview, I would love to interview Sarah Bond, is on a train, and she just randomly takes a picture of the Sega building. So you're like, wait a minute, okay, yeah, this is the railroad tracks are starting to connect together. Something's going on here, right? And then today, Microsoft's Edge account is now the Edge Hog account, and they've been posting about this hedgehog, and they changed their picture to a hedgehog, and it's just been. Eventually, you have to see that 2 + 2 = 4, right? Now, I love conspiracies. And I am one to believe that as soon as this Activision Blizzard thing is up, Microsoft will continue to pursue Sega, even though Sega's saying they're not interested in selling right now. Des, I'm going to start with you. Is it a pipe dream? Am I looking too much into this? Or is there something there between Microsoft and Sega?
I think Sega has been one of those companies that's always been willing to partner with other companies. Like, even back, I was sitting here trying to think of the console that they partnered with. I don't know if it was Nintendo, like a long time ago, but it never went anywhere. They've always been open to doing partnerships and things like that. So no, I don't think it's weird. I love that everybody who's like posting pictures and I love the seeding, because I cannot wait for the announcement of whatever they're going to announce, because they're planting the seed for everybody. Like, they wouldn't be doing it if they didn't have something up their sleeve. Like, this is the first time I've seen something like this go on, and I think it's really, really cool. So, no, I don't think you're reading into it. Something's about to happen, and I'm excited for it.
Shout out to you, sis, who runs this show, to put up the video of the hedgehog walking through the Microsoft headquarters. But while I got you, sis, your thoughts. Should I take the 10-4 hat off? Is there something besides this super game with Sega and Microsoft?
I think you're pretty spot on, because once is like, oh, okay, it just happened. Twice, 3 times, it's like, there's only so much you can say, hey, we are working on something, before we start to believe it. And then don't call us crazy when you've laid out all this evidence saying something is about to happen. Like, they've planted the seed. Des is right, something is coming. I just don't know what. And it's probably not just that game. It's probably something really cool that gamers are going to love. Well, Xbox gamers are gonna love.
Ryan, knock our heads out of the sky and bring us down to earth. Are we looking too much into this?
And if what you're hoping for is a merger or acquisition, yes, I think you are. But in terms of something cool, like everybody else has been saying, no, I think you're totally fair to keep your head at the sort of lower hanging cloud there. In the event of a multi-billion-dollar acquisition, those things are so, and I don't even pretend to have like a huge, great grasp on it, but those things are so delicate and so serious and so lawyered up that there's no way they would not be like dropping little breadcrumbs for a multi-billion-dollar. Like it's so, because like anything could go wrong during the diligence process, during whatever, where if it, it could fall apart, and there are shareholders involved for both companies, so that's where you get into like legal stuff as well. Again, I don't pretend to have any major huge understanding of this, but so they would not be having this kind of sort of cute fun with it if it were something as big as Microsoft acquiring Sega. But for anything below that, game project, crossover, a marketing promotion of some sort, all fair game. And so I agree that there's probably something going on, but I don't think it is indicative of Microsoft buying Sega.
Yeah.
Shout out to Luke, Xbox Expansion Pass with the $2 Super Chat said just supporting. Shout out to Luke because he has been getting he's been getting his podcast name in some big publications, talking about some of the main stuff he's doing with some of those interviews he's doing at XCP. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate the support. And Jay Barry from What's Up PlayStation, the $5 Super Chat said, shout out to Level 1 Gaming, getting Ryan on the show, level up. Shout out to you, Barry, man. Those boys do great work over at What's Up PlayStation, getting some amazing interviews on there. They do great. If you guys are into PlayStation and all things PlayStation, because they cover it all, make sure you guys go check out Jay Barry and What's Up PlayStation. Keith,
yo,
I'm gonna swing over to you.
So you want me to tell you that Microsoft and Sega are doing something together? It may be an acquisition or merger, right? But I'm not. No.
Are they just? Is this just
No.
a guy and a girl flirting?
They're flirting. They're probably teasing something that's coming up, something that's going to be exciting for the gamers. But I don't see an acquisition right now. Sega has no reason to do so. Sega is doing amazing right now. The Yakuza games, can we call them that anymore? We've got the Persona games. They have no reason to. I definitely think that they might be hitting at something that's coming up in the future, and it's just playful banter back and forth. They're flirting a lot, and I love to see it.
Same.
I do think one of the best things that's come out of this is when you think about the Yakuza games and Persona games, like you got Persona Tactics that's launching day one into Game Pass, right? These games are no longer considered PlayStation exclusive, right?
And I love it. Oh my god, I love it.
If
all
you
the
tell me
players
that,
have access to these games, they should.
that's and there it is. I mean, yes, I do think that at some point we're probably going to hear about a title from Xbox and Sega that's going to be Xbox and PC only. I do think that's likely a scenario that could happen. The acquisition is a pipe dream, but it runs rampant on I almost said Twitter. X. It runs rampant. I'm never going to get used to that.
That is a terrible name.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Get used to that. But it's running rampant on X. But I think the best thing about this relationship between Microsoft and Sega is that the Xbox gamer is no longer left out of the conversation when it comes to some of these games, right? With the Yakuza series being over there, again, I mentioned the Persona games, and then when the games are being announced, they're being announced on the Xbox stage. I think that's huge, and it kind of goes to show that Phil Spencer was putting in a lot of work in Japan.
And that could be it right there. The fact that they're working hand in hand with Sega, that they're finally getting in deeper with the Japanese audience, because they definitely need it.
I mean, Microsoft and Sega, for the record, have had an awesome relationship since the very beginning of Xbox. I mean, you could make a fun little like campsite fire or over a couple beers argument that the original Xbox was kind of the spiritual successor to the Dreamcast. In a lot of ways. Like,
absolutely.
I
missed the Dreamcast.
Yeah, you got Shenmue 2 on the original Xbox. You got Panzer Dragoon Orta. You got Jet Set Radio. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few as well. But Sega's always been happy to partner up with Microsoft. But as was noted too, like Sega's pretty cool to partner up with anybody if there's just a cool idea there. I mean, from Super Monkey Ball with doing that with Nintendo, and there's which I think is great that Sega, has fully embraced their new life as a, not that it's new anymore, but their life as a third-party game publisher.
I agree. I think they would have died off had they not embraced that. So I'm glad that they did.
Could some say that Sega is bracing Microsoft to become that third party, getting rid of hardware? Because I mean, Baron J is not on this podcast, right? But Baron J swears he would tell you up and down that is where things are gonna go. That it's just gonna be software. They're gonna be streaming, and it's not gonna necessarily be a console. They're gonna be, well, I take it back. He believes that PlayStation will become Sega, which I don't see how you can see that. But Baron believes that Sega will become.
I don't see
PlayStation
that
will become
What?
Sega.
That PlayStation would stop making hardware? Is that the?
Yeah. That's his 10-4 hat theory he's been running with for the past year and a half.
Their entire business model is predicated on selling as many PlayStation hardware units as possible. So
Yes,
I just don't see that.
I mean, if you go back and look at Sony doesn't have a lot of stuff anymore. They got rid of their PC market a while ago. This PlayStation is their bread and butter. Most of their bread and butter. They're not getting rid of that. No, that's not happening.
And by the way, they're doing a great job of selling as many PlayStations. I want to make sure that doesn't come across as a dig at all. It's quite the opposite. Their strategy has been paying off for them quite handsomely.
Yeah, the brand of the PlayStation is going to always sell because most people. It used to be back when I was younger. My mom, may she rest in peace. Everything I had was Nintendo. Right, get off that Nintendo.
Yep.
Nintendo, go cut the grass.
Everything was Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
But now everything's PlayStation. Like when people think video games, they think PlayStation.
Or they think of that sub stuck at the bottom of the ocean. I'm sorry. That little PlayStation controller.
Oh.
Logitech. Hugger.
Logitech didn't get caught. Too soon?
Too soon.
Too soon.
Nah, not too soon.
Hugger. Shout out to Gaming Addict for our super chat. Just here to support. Drop some love to Level 1. Thank you, Addict, man. Appreciate the love and support that you're giving to Level 1 Gaming. Shout out to the Addict Show and the Iron Lords podcast. Every Sunday is the Lords that you guys do amazing work over there. Can't see, wait to see you guys what you guys do next because they are trendsetters in a lot of ways. Love those guys over there. Speaking of trendsetters, and this is going to kind of go into something that I was talking about on Twitter and I'm a bit angry about.
X.
I can't
on X.
On X. Sorry, gosh, I was on X because I want.
That's
Okay,
not good.
wait,
Get off of that. You need to get off of that. That's not good for you, man.
I refuse to call it X. It's going to be
Nobody's calling
Twitter
it
for
X.
me. Nobody's calling it X.
Nobody's calling it.
But it makes some good jokes.
Yeah.
You gotta stop
It does,
doing
it
that.
does.
It's not good for you.
It does. And what is a tweet supposed to be called? A yeet?
Thankfully, that was fake.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, that was
A
fake.
zeet.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I was like,
it was
what?
fake. Yeah, XEET is a zeet, but fortunately, that was not a real thing. That was just
Okay.
some
I
fun
was
with
worried.
Photoshop. But it's that sort of like one of my favorite sports writers and podcasters, Bill Simmons, coined a term many years ago called the Tyson zone, where if you heard something about Mike Tyson, anything was in play, anything was believable because back in the day, Mike Tyson was just like so crazy that
Oh my
you
God, he
believe
could get
anything.
away with everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Mike
God.
Tyson is a much more centered human being these days, but now you could kind of put you could put Trump in that zone where like any story you'd hear about him you could believe.
Yeah.
And Elon's probably in that zone too.
Yeah,
of,
he
like,
definitely
anything you hear about could I believe that. Zeets, all right, you probably want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
you're
I believed that. I didn't know it was photoshopped until right now. So
Because he
I was
does
great.
ridiculous, stupid shit on the.
Yes,
he does
he
it on
most
the
definitely
platform
does.
all the time. So
Listen, for as much crap as Elon gets, I'm not leaving Twitter anytime soon. I'm sorry, I tried.
I'm not
Thread.
either.
I tried it, and I was like, "Yeah, this isn't it." I tried Hive. No
Is
shade.
it because
this
we're
wasn't it.
old? I can't tell. I can't tell.
Maybe.
Maybe it's because we're old. Because I
Is
was like,
Twitter
no,
on
I'm not.
Facebook?
Whoa, wait,
I'm
wait,
not
wait.
signing up for it. That's
Wait.
what I'm.
Wait,
Listen.
wait. So my thing is, so we're giving Elon all this crap, rightfully so, but yet Meta comes out with Threads, and everybody's like, "Let's go to Threads." Okay, so you forgot everything that Zuckerman did, and he's all forgiven, right? So you just want to go over there?
No.
Like, no, come
I ain't
on.
go to
no.
Threads. So
I did,
didn't
and I
go
was
to
like,
Threads.
hi.
I did for Dames for
Hi.
Games because I feel like it needs to be on all platforms. But my personal,
Yeah.
I didn't do it. Like if you can't find me on Twitter tweeting, then we just not gonna talk. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I think Twitter has become our, like you got the 70-year-old, 80-year-old grandpa.
Yeah,
that's still on
that's
Facebook.
me. That's me.
Twitter has been like we're not leaving. Like there was like Mastodon. There was so many things. People like find me here, catch me here, and like none
Blue
of us.
Sky. Everybody
Blue Sky.
that killed me.
Yeah.
Blue Sky annoyed me the most because people
Wasn't
were
it
like,
made by
I
old
got an
Twitter developers?
invitation, and I was like, so.
Twitter or X. It's
where I'm at.
undefeated. It's undefeated. It's such a good platform. I think we're so embedded, especially in the gaming space. We're so embedded on Twitter that I don't see us leaving, going anywhere else. But
I'm just waiting for him to realize that he's done with his social experiment and he wants to sell it off.
Yeah.
Save face.
Yep.
I'm waiting
Yes.
for that. It's going to happen. He's going to go, I don't know what I'm doing. People are upset. Let me get my money back and just walk away and do something else.
I don't
all
think
right, go ahead and
people
start the
are
rumors
upset.
that Keith said that Microsoft is buying Twitter or buying X.
No,
my
don't say
God.
that.
You heard it here
No,
first.
no.
I got beef from Microsoft over Mixer, so let's not go there.
I hate that Mixer doesn't exist anymore. I really enjoyed Mixer. I enjoyed the platform. I enjoyed the content creators.
I
of
loved
Mixer. Yeah, it was amazing, and it should. Yeah, but listen, here's my beef at Microsoft. My beef with Xbox. Right, we have yet to get a custom Xbox Series X console other than the Halo console, which probably only
Which
10
sold
people
out
are able to buy
immediately.
because no one could buy it. No one could buy that console. It immediately sold out, and we've yet to get a custom console since. But what we have been getting to be able to buy, because I love this. Like this is probably one of the best. This is one of the best consoles ever done. This I got my 20th anniversary. I got some ridiculous.
You got me sitting here in my
controllers to make.
seat. I don't want to go over to my wall of controllers, but I still think the Titanfall controller is better. I like that
And
one.
he's like, let me get that one.
Let me just grab that one too.
All I want is the Black Panther.
I love that one.
Console.
I love the Titanfall one.
And the
Love it.
controllers.
Panther one.
That's all I want.
It's by far the best
Sea of
controller
I'll give you that.
ever made.
with
I'll
the
give you
gold
that.
tube
This is
for the
it.
trigger.
Yeah.
Yes, and the skull glows. Like this is perfection
Well, how come you got the Titanfall out the box and that one's in the box? Come on, man.
because it's worth more in the box. Have you not looked on
My God.
eBay and see how much the controllers go for?
I'm glad you said that. People used to make fun of me for not unboxing certain things, and they're like, "Why is it still in the box?" It's like, because it's a collector's item. You don't take.
I'm not
this
going
to
to
the
talk.
box.
I'm guilty as well.
Yeah.
Not a collector's item, but I love the box. I have some controllers, right? I love this one too.
That was a great
I
one, too.
love this controller. This was an underrated controller. I bought all of the Gears controllers. So underrated.
The only thing I hate about the older controllers is it doesn't use USB Type C, and it's like, I gotta have to
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
It doesn't have the share button. You have to like press. You have to press like some combination of buttons at the same time to get it to share. But my point is, right? We're not getting the custom consoles, which I think that's a missed opportunity, especially with the Spider-Man
Yes.
thing. I would love the Starfield one. But some of the best controllers they have cannot be bought. Case in point.
Don't do it.
TMNT drops, I believe, in the new movie drops in like 2 weeks.
He did it.
And Xbox is giving away a TMNT controller that smells like pizza. Ryan, why can we only try to win this this controller instead of buying it? What is going on?
Maybe it's like I don't know, some rare earth element where there's only one drop of pizza scent to put on a controller is worth
Take
too
it
much
without
money.
the scent.
We can't mass produce it. I don't know. That's
Yeah, I'll buy it without the scent.
I'll buy it
the
without the
controller.
pizza scent and just order pizza and eat the pizza while I'm playing. It just kills me because I feel like they're teasing us, but like not even teasing us at the same time. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, that's vulgar. I'm not going to say that. Anyway.
Thank you.
It just feels like it sucks because like I loved the Black Panther console. Like it was beautiful, but they only gave that to certain people. Like you could not buy it. And then the Barbie one that just
was that one a giveaway as well, or was that just like we giving it to certain?
They just gave it
like,
to.
Was it a contest?
I didn't see a contest for it, but I saw certain content creators who got it. Like, look what just came in the mail.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
They even did, what was it? On the showcase, the June showcase, they had the Porsche custom consoles.
Yeah.
I think there's only 75 of them because it's like Porsche's 75.
I know this guy who has the Black Panther one and the Porsche one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Who do you know?
You know, there's no excuse anymore for not doing these cool custom consoles that people can actually get their hands on, because the supply chain stuff's over. Like, there are consoles on the shelves.
That part.
There's no good excuse for Microsoft to not be doing a Starfield Series X for starters, you know, and you know, maybe a Hellblade one for next year. There's just lots of cool stuff, a lot of good opportunities.
I would love to have that Armored Core controller that people got from that event. You know, just saying, I love that controller.
That was an Armored Core controller. I did not see that.
Yeah,
I didn't know there was a thing.
I just don't understand, because the market is there. Do you know what I mean?
I'd pay $100 for this controller.
The market is there. Like, people will buy another console just to have that console. Like, I would never play the Barbie console, but I would have it just to say that I had it. and they know that. They do that with their controllers. How many controllers do you own, Fame?
Don't make me embarrass myself.
I'm not. No, this is not embarrassing. I'm just trying to prove a point. How many Xbox controllers do you have? Just off the top of your head.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Right, and you can only play with one at a time.
About 18.
You can only use one at a time. How many controllers do you have, Ryan? How many Xbox controllers do you have?
I have brought a lot of them to the office because it's so many. So yeah, it's a lot. I will say it's a lot.
Okay, how many do you have?
Me?
You talking to Keith?
Yeah,
I didn't
Keith,
hear,
how many do you have?
about 25.
That's my
collector.
point. But the market is there. So why are y'all playing with our emotions? I don't understand.
And I can't help myself. Like, even my 360 ones, my Gears one already. Like, I can't help myself. I see a cool controller now.
Exactly. I blame Microsoft. I see a cool controller. I like it. I buy it. I put it on the shelf, and then it just sits there. Maybe it becomes
for you to look at.
Maybe it becomes worthwhile, and then I sell it to make some money. But for the most, they stay over there on the shelf. Like the Razer Captain America one I saw. Like, wow, this is Captain America. I love Captain America. I buy the controller.
Yeah, it makes sense. You think I need all these pops or all of these like little, like I have like 8 of those.
Those are an obsession. I'm glad.
Man, you have a PlayStation 5 in the box. You don't.
I do have a PlayStation. Listen.
You have a PlayStation 5 in the box, unopened, untampered.
It's not been opened and it hasn't been tampered. But hey, if they release a Barbie PlayStation or like a Black Panther one, I might open it. Right now, it's just too plain. I don't care. I would. You know what? You know, you're right. I wouldn't open it. I'd look at it every so often and be like, yeah, that's mine.
So we're the problem.
It's like being a sneakerhead, only a little cheaper.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
I say that as a sneakerhead. So,
well, the problem with that, Ryan, is if they offered these controllers for $150, I'd probably buy it.
You'd probably still buy it.
Don't tell them that. don't say that. I'd probably buy.
If it means them beginning to sell these controllers, and they have, because of that magic essence that they need, these controllers are made out of Wakandan tech. If I gotta pay $150 for it, then that's just what it is. I'll do it. I'm just being honest, and I'll probably never play it, but it's there to look at, and maybe one day my children can. And no, they better not open up my stuff when I die.
Honestly,
they better just look at it as well.
What's $150 a month, or 2 months, or 3 months? Like, I don't know. It's worth it. People buy the most ridiculous things. Let us have what we want to have. Let us spend money on what we want to spend money on as gamers. If we want to have 10,000 controllers that all look different, then let's have 10,000 controllers that all look different. I don't need all this Pac-Man stuff, but I do need it at the same time. So, Microsoft, please, Microsoft
has done so well with the design studio, the custom controllers. Like this is my my primary controller. It's my Xbox 360 inspired controller with my name on it. And I wonder how, like cost-wise, how much more it would cost them. Because what's the premium on these? I think like $10, right? Is it about $10 more to get a custom one?
Yeah.
To do a custom one, yeah. And then
Which is,
another 10
which
if
is
you want
what?
it
It's
engraved.
$60. So what is that? It's like about an 18% premium or something. So let's say, I mean, would a 20% more expensive Series X that you could choose the color of the shell, and maybe, you know, the power button and the top, you know, the vents on the top, like why not have a design studio for the Series X itself?
That would be amazing.
That would
you
be
would
so
sell
cool.
you'd sell a bunch of those.
Yeah, like you could do like sports team colors, maybe, you know, like I'm a Suns fan, maybe I want a purple body with an orange, you know, the orange vents on top, and like, yeah, you could take that in a number of different ways with because it's a very intentionally minimalist cube, right?
Yeah.
Well, cube is even on all sides, but you know, a rectangle. It's a minimalist block, and why not let us do a custom outside of the console? That'd be cool.
They should do what Vans does. They have partnerships, limited partnerships that they do with like other like known IPs. Like they did Simpsons, and then for like maybe like 6 months, I have a pair of Simpsons Vans. I have 2 pairs. They're dope. And then they did something with Nintendo where they had like different designs. You just go in and pick the design you want, and it's just limited. But like I think that's so cool. Like, and I think they have the ability to do it. They've shown us they have the ability to do it. Like, we got a controller with pizza that smells like pizza.
I mean, we talked about it earlier. The PlayStation, you're being allowed to take the plates off and put the Spider-Man ones on there. You can customize it. I did really hate that there's 0 customization options for this console, and I could be wrong. Because I tend to dream very vivid dreams, right? At some point, I remember when this console was first announced, first seen, that Phil Spencer had tweeted out something. Maybe not have been Phil Spencer, but it was a tweet, somebody from Xbox, saying that part of the things about the design is to be where we can customize the console. I could have dreamed that, but I'm almost certain that yes. And we're almost 4 years in, and there's no way, there's nothing like PlayStation allows you to take the place off. There's 0 ability to customize this console.
I have to point out the little bit of kind of an irony here, that you guys are jumping on this and wanting it in the 360 had faceplates.
Yes.
Nobody bought them. Nobody, like, generally speaking, nobody bought them. So by the end of the generation, like, you know, they refreshed it and slimmed it down and got rid of the whole faceplate thing. But it's just, history repeats itself, right? Like, we see this over and over. I'm not trying to like pick on you guys or pick on Sony or anything. It's just funny that history will repeat itself that way.
I forgot about those faceplates.
I guess just weren't into them, right? But now that you're seeing like what they can do, I think that's what's getting people excited. But the fact that they're releasing this stuff and it makes people want it more. I feel like when they released the plates the last time, like it was like, yeah, you can do this, but they weren't doing anything special. I think the idea is having something that nobody else has, right? And having that limited on it. If everybody can get a faceplate, then everybody has it. For me, I'm not excited about that. Like, I want something that's limited edition. And I feel like that's part of why people want it. That is a huge marketing point, is making something limited, and it makes people want it more, right? So I think that was part of the thing. It was like, well, we have this out here, but people aren't very excited. But tell people that they can have something, but only a certain amount of people can have it, then everybody wants it.
That's true.
You know, I think part of it, I preferred the complete custom console over the plates, like the R2D2, right?
That was nice.
A good one.
When you powered it on, that to me, it just seemed more than the plates. But Ryan, that's a great point. I forgot about the plates. I completely forgot that was a thing.
The C3PO, remember the C3PO gold, the Connect that went with?
Yes.
The R2D2
Yes.
360?
Yes. It was nice. It was nice. I missed that. Microsoft, please. Just give me one Or just bring back the Halo one if you want to. I'll even buy that. I just want
Yeah,
a
I'll buy
custom
that too.
Series X.
Now
I
that
want
we're
a custom
adults and we
Series
can
X.
afford it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I feel like when a lot of that other stuff was coming out, we just didn't have them. A lot of us were broke college students and things like that. Now we can afford it. Put it out. We want to buy it.
I want to give a shout out to Toyota Coaster. I like that name, Toyota Coaster, with a super chat that says Killzone reboot is really needed. No cap,
Yes.
we do. I have no
Resistant.
idea when we was bringing up Killzone, but Killzone I think gets disrespected a lot, and that's a title that really could use a reboot. It's one of those games where I think, you know, not to dive into the ABK thing, but instead of Sony fighting so hard for Call of Duty, look at some of the games that you have that you could either reboot, bring back. I think they really could dive into that.
Thing is, though, who do you get to do it? Because Guerrilla's a little busy with the very successful Horizon franchise now.
Oh yeah,
So
and
that's
that has a
the
multiplayer game
challenge.
coming. I don't know who they would have to maybe. Oh shoot, Nexus. Not sure how that would work, but I'm not. I forgot about that with Horizon, and they're working on. Are they doing the Horizon multiplayer game?
I would presume so. I don't know for sure.
They are doing that as well. So I don't know. Interesting, but I wouldn't mind a reboot at all. But listen, I want to transition to the last part of the show. One of my favorite parts of the show, because we like to suggest things that we are currently watching and or playing that we think you guys should be checking out. If you got something in the chat, please drop them in the chat. I'll be reading those out as we go through. Dez, I want to start with you, sis. Anime, movie, TV show, and or video game, all three or just one that you've been checking out or playing you think everyone needs to get on board ASAP.
I haven't gotten to watch these movies yet, but I don't want to take one away from you because you already watched it and I feel like you're going to talk about it.
Don't do it.
So go see the Barbie movie. Incredible. Go check that out. And the two games I've been playing, one's called A Day Out. It's on Steam. Absolutely hilarious. You're basically, well, it's hilarious because I've been acting stupid in it. But like the game is kind of like a horror. It's kind of like a horror game where you're hunting cryptids. And you do it with like other people. So like the Wendigo, like the Blob, all kinds of stuff, and it's really fun. Like I really enjoyed it. Another game I just got into, if you like survival type, like grounded, like Valheim type, is called Small Land. It's an early access and it's 25% off. You basically play like this little fairy and you're trying to survive and figure out what happened to all of the humans or giants. It's really cool, and the game is beautiful. Like the graphics are gorgeous in this game. And a little scary with the spiders and everything. But yeah, that's what I've been doing and watching YouTube and working. So
and working. You're always working. Shout out to Freedom Games. Xbox expansion pass. Luke says Star Trek, Strange New World, and Castle. I've never been a Star Trek fan, but to each its own. And it says play Axiom Verge on Xbox right now. The 808 Xbox at Futurama is back, baby. Yes, it is, man. Yes, I'm super excited that Futurama is back again. This is the show that does not die. Keith, I'm gonna swing to you. Your suggestion for people to be watching and or playing.
Well, I'm sorry you're not a Star Trek fan, but I think you really would like Strange New Worlds. I would say give it a try. This season 2, is even better than the first season, so that's some good stuff. Netflix is They Clone Tyrone. If you have not watched it, you need to go watch it.
It wasn't me.
What's that?
That was what Fame was gonna
drop.
It's great. It's great. You gotta watch it. Finishing up Marvel's Secret Invasion. I wasn't too keen on it. I was waiting for it to get to the end so I can watch it all. And of course, games. Remnant 2. Come on. Though I wish I was playing Armored Core 6. Wish I was playing that.
1 month away. Game's out in a month.
I'm a mecha head.
Oh,
and it's kind of funny. I feel kind of bad for Gundam Revolution because I've been saying for months this game's they're gonna close this game up. They're gonna close this game up. They're gonna close this game up.
What are they gonna do?
They closed it up. It's done. But hey, From Software's got Armored Core 6. We don't need Gundam. Wait, yo, don't be disrespecting my Gundam, Bandai Namco. But yeah. Sorry about that.
6 is taking over. Banner J67, who's, co-host of this show, who's decided to purposely get sick, says go play Wandering Village on Game Pass. Bordy McBoard, co-host of Cogs in the Machine with the Floor Hugger, says real men play with Barbies. Don't be
That's
ashamed.
true. That's true.
Dragonheart Yobi says for his game Midnight Fight Express, Bator, AEW Fight Forever.
That's a good game. That's
Wrestling
a good game.
Empire, made by one guy, literally. Vigilante 8 Arcade, Street Fighter 5 Tekken, and last but not least, NBA Jam on fire. My man getting nostalgic on the Xbox 360. Do I have any? Flame says, I recommend the anime Heavenly Delusion. It's basically The Promised Neverland and The Last of Us put together. I'm gonna check that out. That sounds like my type. Sis, I'm gonna swing it over to you. What you got, love?
Go try out Exo Primal. I don't think people talk about it enough now that it's out. It's an interesting game. People were comparing it to Anthem, but now that I've played, it's not even close aside from you wear a suit. So just go and try it. It's a solid combat. To watch, Uncanny Counter, because I've been rewatching that. Fame put me on
So good.
Those
So good.
And that's really all. And Golden Girls, but I'm also a 90-year-old woman that just enjoys my bonbons.
Stop it. Stop it. No, you're
I
not.
love Golden Girls. Once it's over, I might rewatch it again. I don't know. I love that show.
Man,
so
I
much.
was at Outback Steakhouse. And I was eating a steak right next to the Golden Girls. They was real cool. They was like real nice, having a whole conversation. But yes, Uncanny Counter is amazing. Ryan McCaffrey, my friend, what game or movie or TV show that you're currently playing or have watched you think others need to be checking out?
Well, I do want to third the recommendation for Star Trek New World, Strange New Worlds. It is excellent. I love Next Generation and never really got into, didn't like Voyager, have kind of totally fell off Star Trek, but man, Strange New Worlds feels like classic Star Trek in the very best of ways. But I will throw out for my TV show, I loved Justified back in the day, and it is back. They've revived it. I don't know if it's just a limited, I think it's just like a one-season thing, but it's called Justified City Primeval. So it's older, gray-haired Raylan Givens, U.S. Deputy Marshal Raylan Givens, just, talking shit and putting criminals in their places. So that's on, I'm watching it on Hulu. I think it's an FX show. But yeah, watching that on Hulu. It just started. They did the 2-episode premiere last week. So was it today's Wednesday? So tonight, I think.
Nice.
The next episode will be on. Love that. And on the games front, still playing Diablo 4, and but also making time for the Legend of Monkey Island crossover.
Oh, that's big for you.
It was made exactly for me and possibly no one else, but I'm grateful that Rare has done it. It's just so delightful in every way, shape, and form.
Now, for me, you guys, I finally watched it. It's only been out for a couple of days, but Adam Eve on Amazon Prime. It's in the Invincible world. You kind of get more of the backstory of Adam Eve. It's really good. Like, she is ridiculously OP, and you don't realize how OP she is because she's next to Invincible. So freaking good. Go watch it. And to play, I'm gonna kind of do a little bit of self-promotion here. The game you're gonna play isn't out yet. I believe it comes out tomorrow. I don't know, but my review lives tomorrow. Double Dragon Rise of Dragons.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's a great game.
I've been loving the Double Dragon series since the Sega Genesis. I freaking love Double Dragon. I love the cartoons back in the day. They do have a new game coming out.
Do me a favor, because we can talk about this real quick, because the previews went out last week. Yeah. I had some people argue with me that it doesn't feel like a Double Dragon. You kind of want to reach out and smack them. Does this not feel like Double Dragon?
It feels like Double Dragon to me.
Thank you.
I don't understand. It feels like even down to some of the they brought back some of the original sprite, the character, the enemies, right?
The loading screen
looks like Double Dragon.
The loading screen takes its sprites right from the NES games. Like, come on, guys.
Yes,
this is Double Dragon to a T.
It's Double Dragon. And I want you guys to go check it out. It's check out my review tomorrow, even though I won't be in town when it goes up, and I'll be driving because I'm going to DreamCon. But my review goes up tomorrow, and I want you guys to check it out. So, Double Dragon, yes. Thank you, Luke. Seriously, a fantastic game. Yes, because it's so good. Listen, Keith, Ryan, You guys are freaking amazing. Thank you guys for coming out and spending your Wednesday night with us. Before we go, Keith, do you have anything that you got going on coming up that you would like to speak on before we leave?
Well, I also have a Double Dragon review that'll be going live tomorrow, so you can definitely check that out as well. Of course,
Where?
Over at the Outer Haven, of course, baby. Check us out over at theouterhaven.net. I'll also be plastered all over Twitter. I'll also be running people in Remnant 2. I've been doing that nonstop. So if you're playing the game on PC and you help, look me up. I'll help you out. I am kind of addicted to that game. Kind of addicted.
Yeah.
To it.
I
need that DLC.
Like, solving all the puzzles.
I need that DLC. I was like, hey, where's Fan? Where's he at? He's like, he ain't here. Like, I'm trying to help you guys get this stuff. He's like, he's not here. I'm like, all right, I'll show you.
Baron didn't want you to wait for me because he wants to get all the stuff to rub it in my face. That's just really
that's what it is.
He's a bad person. Ryan McCaffrey, my brother. I know you always have cool stuff going on. You working for IGN and doing podcasts and but is there anything you got coming up that you're able to speak about that people should be checking out?
I can't think. My job as the previews guy at IGN necessitates I like live in the future, or I work towards the future all the time, so I can't remember what I can or can't talk about. But I'll mention that we've been talking about one of the Elon Musk companies, X, today. I'll mention that I'm a big fan of one of his other companies, Tesla, which is it's not just him; it's 100-something thousand super talented people making awesome cars. I've been a car guy my whole life. I do a Tesla podcast on weekends. Every Sunday I put a new one out. I've been at that for 8 years now because I just love cars and I love what Tesla's doing specifically. So if you want to go down the Tesla rabbit hole, I'm here for you. Just search Ride the Lightning Tesla podcast. You'll find me on whatever podcast service you like.
Are you only talking about Teslas on that podcast?
Yes, it is. Okay. It is specifically Tesla.
Because I'm looking, I have to buy a new car. This is a whole nother conversation we could have later. But
I'm happy. Like, there are definitely other good electric vehicle choices as well. It is not like a Tesla or bus thing. So happy to if you want to bounce anything off me.
Yes,
just hit me
please,
up.
Because I don't know what to do. My dad's like, "Have you decided?" I was like, I just want something safe, and he's like, "Destiny, help me." I'm like,
I'm here. Safe. I'm here. Hit me up.
Listen, we had an incredible show. Shout out to everybody who came through and rocked out with us, man. Jay Rambert.
Can I say something? I'm so sorry.
Go right ahead, love.
Okay, guys, make sure this Friday that you check out the remix. So I'm sure everybody heard about like the LA mix that got canceled, and then like a lot of people couldn't show up for that. But the good folks at the Mix have put together a remix where they're showcasing all the games that you couldn't see in person. So make sure to check that out. It starts at, I believe, 10 a.m. CST time. If it's wrong, go check out their website. But it is happening this Friday. The Completionist is also going to be streaming a ton of games, some games from Freedom and some other games. They're all incredible. They all look dope. It's going to be interviews and gameplay. Make sure you check it out this Friday.
Good plug. Look at you promoting stuff.
I'm trying.
You're working too hard, Dad. Listen, everybody came out to rock with us. Bordy McBoy, Drankin' Hard, Yobi, Jay Rambert, Dallas man was in the building. I missed you, Dallas man. Shout out to you, Dallas. Rangy for Luke. It's a lot of names in here. Ender Buckley, Encrypt, Xbox Expansion Pass. All of y'all are freaking awesome. We'll get up out of here. Listen, next Wednesday we will be back for Double XP 256. There is no cogs in the machine next Tuesday, but there is a 15 minutes of fame that goes in my earbud. With all that said, congratulations. You guys leveled up to 255. This was the Double XP podcast. Get your game news from LV1Gaming.com, outerhaven.net, and of course IGN, because we love IGN. You guys have a great one, and we're gone.
Bye.